You are welcome to Messiah Revelation Ministry. You are all welcome to the year 2022. And this video is dedicated to the year 2022. I would say that the years 2020 and 2021 are casting their shadows on the year 2022. In 2020, we had the CVD pandemic or the pandemic, and in the year 2021 we saw the enforcement of mandates, and these two events, both the CVD and enforcement of the mandate, they will continue in the year 2022. What is important is that the elites have set a deadline by middle of 2022. This year, they are mandating that 70% of the global population should have the vax. So 2022 is a target year, and I'm not sure why they are talking about 70%, but I believe that 70% is very important for the agenda that they have, and that agenda is set for the middle of the year 2022. And the World Health Organization and the United Nations are parts of the agenda to make sure that 70% of the population, particularly in less developed countries, have gotten the vax. In 2022, we see acceleration of the forces that are mandating the vax, and in places like Austria, the mandates will be severely enforced. And as we are aware, in Australia, the system is becoming more totalitarian in terms of dealing with the mandates. And it's reported that if you get a text message from the authorities on your phone, you have 15 minutes to respond, and you have to take a photograph of yourself to show your location. And so you see that they are perfecting the technologies that will be used to monitor and enforce their agenda. Of course, that technology will be very useful in the days of the Antichrist. And when I talk about technology, we also see what is happening in Sweden, where people voluntarily are allowing themselves to be injected with the CVD passport through a microchip that is able to be monitored. And so the prophecy about the mark of the beast spoken of in Revelation chapter 13 is nearing its fulfillment, and 2022 will accelerate technological advancement that will support the Antichrist system, and particularly with regard to the mark of the Antichrist. We also see partnerships, particularly among the big pharma company and technology companies. And talking about partnership, let me update you on what is happening between CVS Health, that has about 10,000 pharma locations, CVS Health and Microsoft, and another company, Ativa, and they are partnering with Microsoft. And as a result of that partnership, Holy Alliance, or rather Unholy Alliance, the governments or the authorities will be able to know your medical records and your vaccination status, your medical records and vaccination status. And so those records will not be secret any longer. and that will definitely it will enhance the enforcement of the vax, and it also enhance the activities of the order. I want to talk about that, the order for the new world. We're talking about 2022, and that is the year where the Abrahamic house will be open in Abu Dhabi. The Abrahamic house is 3 houses of religion, one for Muslims, one for the people of the Jewish faith, and one for Christians. And that house, that agenda, is towards the coming one world religion, and Pope Francis is spearheading that. The mosque and the synagogue and the church, they are already, and they will be opened in the year 2022. That makes 2022 significant year for the marching towards the Antichrist system, particularly the one world religion. As we are talking about the Pope, we have to remember that the Pope is spearheading false religion, and the Pope is masquerading as the father of Christendom, and this is a false teaching. This is a false narrative, because a lot of people even believe that the Pope, Pope Francis, who is spearheading the Chrislam, the one world religion, is probably the false prophet spoken of in the book of Revelation. I will not say he is a false prophet, but I will say that we need to be watching him, and 2022 gives him a platform, a global platform to enforce a one world religion as he opens the 3 buildings in Abu Dhabi, a mosque, a church, and a synagogue. Interestingly, the mosque is associated with Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ. And it's very interesting for a mosque to be built and dedicated to Mary, the mother of Jesus. And those buildings, whether you're talking about the mosque, you're talking about the synagogue, or you're talking about the church, everybody can go there, including those who believe in God and those who do not believe in God. So atheists can go there, Buddhists can go there, communists can go there, Satanists can go there, everybody can go there. And so you can conclude that 2020 is a beginning of the march towards apostasy, unspoken of in the history of the world, and the Pope Francis, is leading that apostasy. Still talking about the year 2022, that's the year that they have planned to roll out something, the 5 plus G, or the G5, or the 5 plus G. It's a technological device. They will roll it out beginning in the United States. It was scheduled to be rolled out in January of 2022. And so many people have done research on that, and it's very, very dangerous. And we need to see the implications of the rollout of the 5 plus G, particularly in connection with other devices that are going on inside people's bodies. So 2022 is a momentous year for the world, because so many things are happening. There's a convergence of events happening in the year 2020, and the 5 plus G is one of them. It is too early for people to analyze the effect of the 5 plus G or the G5 technology, and how, in combination of other things going in the world, how it will affect humanity as we know. we're still talking about the year 2022. We also have to remember the tension going on in other parts of the world. And in the year 2021, Iran conducted a simulation of attack on Israel's nuclear reactor. Iran conducted a simulation on how they will attack Israel's Israeli nuclear reactor in Dimona. So when you hear Iran conducting a simulation on attacking Israel's nuclear reactor, when you also hear Israel also conducting simulation on how to attack Iranian nuclear reactors, then you will see that the clouds are gathering. And if they happen in 2021, you know that in 2022, the dramatic escalation will be very, very profound, because some experts believe that Iran is not far from acquiring the nuclear weapon. And so the window of opportunity for Israel to do anything about it is closing. And by the end of 2022, it will be too late. And so if something has to be done, then it has to be done early in 2022. Is Iran going to attack Israel's nuclear reactor in Dimona? And talking about Dimona, it's a city in Israel where the African Americans who migrated to Israel, this is where they live. Some African Americans who moved to Israel because that's the land given to them, being descendants of Judah who were in Dimona, the city where Israel's nuclear reactor is located. And if there is an Iranian attack on the nuclear facility, then you will know the implications for people who live there, and also implications for the international community. 2022, you will see the shadow of Ukraine and Russia conflict moving to 2022. In 2022, NATO is meeting, Russia and Americans are meeting in connection with the conflict in Ukraine. And will there be a red line? The red line is that Russia will not allow NATO to establish bases in Eastern Europe, and particularly Ukraine. And if that happens, if NATO crosses that red line, Putin is threatening some actions, and I wouldn't rule out military action that will be threatened, that will be unleashed by Putin. As I'm talking about Putin, we have to remember other vision that I had, where in that vision Russia was preparing to attack the United States. In 30 minutes, the United States didn't have any response time at all. And so, are all these events going to happen in 2022? And even if they don't happen, 2022 will be remembered as a year of gathering storms. It's a year of it's a year that's going to see a lot of military activities, whether you're talking about the border between Ukraine and Russia, whether you're talking about the geopolitical conflict going on between China and Taiwan, as China maneuvers to take Taiwan by force, to liberate Taiwan by force. And would that lead to any other escalations? Would the United States respond, and how would they respond? You see China and Russia increasing their cooperation, and I believe that they also increase their military cooperation. And so you see the alignment and realignment of forces going on in the international system, and 2022 will probably intensify those alignments and realignments. And as we are talking about 2022, is also going to be affected by what had been planned earlier. And the reset, they call it the Great Reset, and that was spearheaded by the World Economic Forum, and its shadow will be cast on the year 2022. So 2022 is not a very good year. It's a year where the forces are aligned themselves, and there is a great acceleration towards the mark of the beast, as you can see, and governments are turning totalitarian. Whether you look at what is happening in Australia, or whether you look at what is happening in Austria or in France, even the United States, as people are protesting against mandates imposed by the governments, and as the World Health Organization and the global leaders, the pharaohs of our time, are pushing towards enforcements and mandates. And as we also see technology being perfected, particularly technologies that will be used by the Antichrist. And so 2022 has a lot to offer, but you have to remember, every year that comes in, and 2022 is also very important, every year that comes in tells us that the time is being shorter and shorter for the end of this world and for the arrival of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I take this opportunity to welcome you to 2022. And you have to remember that this channel is a prophetic channel. I believe that God is on our side, and the Lord is interested in a remnant. And there are so many sabotage going on this channel, whether we're talking about the number of subscribers, whether you're talking about notification. Some of you even complain that you don't get your notification. Even I don't get notifications, and it should not surprise you because we do not wrestle with flesh and blood. We wrestle with principalities and powers. We wrestle with spiritual wickedness that are in high places, and the high places are a lot. They are doing everything possible. I take this opportunity once again to thank everybody for watching our videos and also commenting. And some of you send me information through my email, raptureafrica@yahoo.com, small letters raptureafrica@yahoo.com. If you have any information, you can share that with me, and I appreciate those of you who comment, and even those who do not comment, I appreciate, and I hope that we will meet because the time is very close for our Messiah to come, and we'll meet in the New Jerusalem. Thank you, and Happy New Year 2022.